Today is December 2nd, and we are back with another Fake Mons analysis. It feels like I haven't done this in a hot second, but again, we're doing the 31 days of uploading every single day in December 2025 before the new year of 2026. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel, join the kingdom. Only 41 subscribers away from 1k, and I would really like to hit this at the end of the year. But either way, let's get into it. So today, more focus on the ice type, and we're going to look at some of the strongest Fake Mons that are ice type Pokemon that we have on the Pokeathlon server. Now, some of these guys I've talked about many times, so I'm going to try my best not to speak about. We're going to try and speak about some new Pokemon, just any ice type that really catches my interest. And like, to be honest, it's not always about the broken guys. Like, we have Gigantusk, we have Alpico. I've talked about these guys on several occasions, but you know, we're going to speak about some other ice type Fake Mons that we haven't really had the opportunity to speak about today, or in previous Fake Mons analysis. So either way, we're going to start with Omnimon here, which is not a Pokemon, it's actually a Digimon. But all the Digimon fans, shout out to the Digimon fans, you get me. You guys are, you know, trying your best in a franchise that has always had to compete with Pokemon, innit? But either way, Omnimon comes from Pokemon Infinity, and yeah, there's a lot going for Omnimon, I can't lie. This guy is kind of scary. So you see Fire Ice and you're probably thinking, well, you know, that's a 4x rock weakness, but you know, you have Magic Guard and Download as your abilities, but at that point, does that really matter, the abilities? I mean, Magic Guard kind of does help, I'll be honest. But, you know, 775 BST with your lowest stat being 120 in your defenses. This is just a beast of a mon. If this was in Gen 9, let's not even try and imagine this thing in Gen 9. Like, this absolutely destroys OU without any sort of... It might... I don't know if it destroys Ubers, the current iteration of Ubers. Like, 130 speed is okay, but there's a lot of faster stuff. And Fire Ice is not the best typing defensively. So, this thing could probably survive in... surviving Gen 9 Ubers, but OU, this is just like even a pipe dream. But either way, what does this mon have? Well, you know, to be honest, what I want this shit in Ubers, like, it has a move called Transcendent Sword. Like, I don't really see this thing. Now, yeah, like, the moves are too much. Like, even if you didn't, like, it has some setup, which is actually pretty good. Like, the setup being Home Claws, which, again, take it as you will, but you literally have a move called Transcendent Sword coming in at 240 base power. 1 PP, though, so you only have 1 time to use it. But in terms of its stab options, at least on the special side, I think it gets something called Giga Destroyer, which hits 2 times in 1 turn, so that calcs to be 110 base power, so just about the same damage as Fire Blast, and it has more accuracy, so you know, that's not too bad. But I think Terra Force is the main thing here. Like, this is 115 base power, perfectly accurate, and you also get a move called Supreme Cannon, which is probably one of the most broken Fake Mon moves that I've ever seen in my life, because it's a 95 base power move. So basically old gen, pre-gen 6 Ice Beam, but with a 25% chance of freezing. Do you know how crazy that is? Supreme Cannon is an insane move. But you also get a really cool move called Omni Blast, which is 50% chance to burn, freeze, or paralyze target. So if you thought Dire Claw was annoying, just imagine rolling 50% chance to like get the freeze, which isn't actually 50%, but you know, having 2 moves that can just freeze, like, potentially, and this is 140 base power. But yeah, no, this is definitely destroying Ubers. The hacks on this guy is absolutely insane. You also get a move called Ice Wolf Claw, which, to be fair, with loaded dice, doesn't really sound too bad, but at the same time, you don't get any special boosting options, so, you know, there's that. But yeah, you have Transcendent Sword and you have Supreme Cannon, in addition to Terra Force, so you're hitting very hard on the special side. In terms of the physical side, again, Transcendent Sword was a physical move, so you have that. But other than that, you just get like Guru Kick, which is a this is an ice physical U-turn, 70 base power, and you switch out. But yeah, this mon is not really using any of its physical attacks because the special attacking side is just a lot better. So yeah, Omnimon is in AG, Chaos AG. We don't even let this guy in Chaos Ubers because he's just fucking broken. So what else can we really say about this guy? Okay, guys, we are back. So it seems like I needed to actually make a list of who I wanted to talk about, just so I can keep this in one take, because yeah, your boy's busy. But either way, the next one we're going to be talking about is Mega Cryogonal from Pokemon Insurgence. Now, Cryogonal has always been one of the cooler Gen 5 Pokemon, definitely one of the underrated designs. It's been like, the stats have been decent, I'd say. Like, I think it got buffed to its defense in Generation 7 from 30 to 50. So, you know, massive increase and good news for Cryogonal was. Mega Evolution is, I think, got a HP buff as well, because as you can see, Mega Cryogonal only has 70 there. So, yeah, it got a HP and the defense buff in Generation 7. But either way, the reason why Mega Cryogonal even made it to Chaos Ubers in the first place is because Sleet. Now, Sleet, imagine a Hail that does 25% of your HP if you're not an Ice type. So yeah, that's why it's banned. But yeah, that's the simple answer. But the more complex answer is also the fact that it actually has an improved stat spread. Again, Mono Ice is absolutely abhorrent defensively, but at the same time, 135 speed, 150 special defense with 115 special attack. Like, Cryogonal can actually do a lot of damage, especially if you take into account that Sleet is basically Hail, so you have a perfectly accurate Blizzard. Or to be fair, if Sleet runs out, then, you know, the Blizzard ain't perfectly accurate anymore. But yeah, Blizzard, Freeze Dry. Obviously, you have Hidden Power at your disposal. And to be fair, Cryogonal has not been known to have a great move pool in terms of physical attacks. But obviously, has access to Knockoff, has access to Recover, Rapid Spin, and Defog is one of the few Pokemon that only get access to Defog and Rapid Spin. I think the others are like Delibird and, you know, Delibird's Delibird. We're also not going to be speaking about that guy in this video. But no, there's actually one I can actually speak about. But either way, but yeah, Mega Cryogonal is definitely, it, like, without its ability, it would be like a perfectly balanced Pokemon. Arguably wouldn't even be Chaos OU level, and you know, wouldn't actually be that threatening of a Pokemon. But Sleet is just a broken ass ability for anything that basically is not an Ice type. So yeah, you're losing 25% of your HP. That's not on, man. That's not on. But either way, the next Pokemon we're going to be speaking about is Frostfra. Ice bug type. This is what Frostmoth wishes it was, but you know, it could not live up to its full potential. I think even Frostmoth's BST, I don't even know what it is. Frostmoth's BST is 475. So you have, well, I was going to say you have more. I can't do basic maths. 475, this guy's a fraud. What the hell? People were like, this is going to be the next Volcarona. I remember Gen 8 came out, and guys were saying, this is going to be the next Volcarona. Nah. Nah. Bug Ice with basically no coverage to his name. But anyway, we're not speaking about Frostmoth. This guy's a fraud. Frostfra, on the other hand, is a very dangerous Pokemon. Also another Chaos Uber's threat. You're probably thinking 550 BST. You know, awful defensive typing. Had decent offensive stats, you know, 140 special attack with 115 speed. Frostmoth basically needed the speed. And to be fair, you also struggle from, like, coverage, but at least you get Freeze Dry. Frostmoth does not get Freeze Dry for some random reason, and that would actually help out Frostmoth a lot. Considering the fact that Frostmoth just got banned from PU, I can't really say it's an absolute shitter, but, you know, that's mainly because of terrestrialization. Without that, Frostmoth would guaranteed be a ZU Pokemon, potentially even SU level. But Frostfra, the main reason why it's in Ubers in the first place, I believe it gets Quiver Dance, but that's not the reason why. Because a 550 BST with, like, probably one of the worst offensive stabs and the worst defensive typing in the game, it comes down to Deep Freeze. Now, Deep Freeze is a very crazy ass ability. 30% chance making contact with this Pokemon and you'll be frozen. We all know how broken Freeze is, and yeah, two very broken Ice types in Mega Cryogonal and Frostfra. But yeah, this is mainly getting carried by its ability, and even without the ability, I mean, it has access to Hidden Power, so it wouldn't be completely fucked in, like, Chaos formats. But let's say this one was in Gen 9. Well, it definitely would be banned from, like, NU or RU, in my opinion. Because if Frostmoth is getting banned from PU, and if you look at PU these days, like, I have PU open on another tab. You have the likes of, like, Mudsdale. Well, let me not start off with Mudsdale. Mudsdale has always been a lower tier mon, but PU is having, like, some Pokemon that were, like, decently high level Pokemon in previous generations, like Rotom Heat. You got Uxie, even things like Porygon 2 in ZUBL. I think Snorlax and stuff is even down in ZU, and even Milotic is a PU Pokemon now. But yeah, Frostfra in Gen 9 with Terra, yeah, this thing would absolutely get banned from, like, RU, and potentially might even make up to UU level, just because it's that much faster than Frostmoth, for example, and is that much stronger than Frostmoth. And to be fair, even outside of Hidden Power, yeah, you're basically suffering from the same issues of Frostmoth, I'll be honest. But Freeze Dry being meaning that you can actually beat water types, yeah, this one is at least getting banned from RU, in my honest opinion. So yeah, this one is actually kind of crazy. But yeah, moving on to our next Pokemon, we got Metal Garurumon. This is a Steel and Ice type, a type combination that we don't see too often in the mainline games. I'm pretty sure the only Ice Steel type is Alolan Sandslash to this day. Let me know if I'm forgetting anyone. But yeah, Metal Garurumon, another Digimon from Pokemon Infinity with 710 BST and crazy stats overall. Like, your lowest stat is base 100, which again, 100 isn't that crazy, but when it's not in your offenses and just your HP stat, then yeah, 100 base 100, you can get away with that. But yeah, what makes Garurumon in Ubers? Well, obviously the stats are too high for obvious reasons. Like, again, you have higher stats than box art legendaries like Kyogre, Groudon, and you know, so on and so forth. But yeah, you have Technician and Download. Not the craziest abilities, but they're crazy when you realize that this thing gets access to Ice Wolf Claw. We already spoke about Ice Wolf Claw with Omnimon. I think Metal Garurumon evolves into Omnimon. I don't really know too much about Digimon evolutions, but either way, yeah, Ice Wolf Claw, you can get loaded dice, and this is Technician boosted. So imagine hitting 4 times, your tech boosted, this goes up to 45 base power. You hit minimum 4 times, so that goes up to 180 base power, I'm pretty sure. Like, yeah, 45. Yeah, you literally have a 180 base power ice type move that doesn't miss at the minimum. If you hit 5 times, then you're at 225 base power without Z moves and without like any sort of boosting, and you're coming at 126 base special attack, which isn't that crazy, but when you deep the base power is literally above 200, you see why Metal Garurumon is a menace to society. It also has 125 speed, which is pretty modest by, you know, today's standards. To be fair, like, we see mons with 135 speed these days, but again, you have one of the best defensive typings in the game, in addition to your defense is actually being pretty modest for your typing, and then you have a move that does that much damage. So yeah, even outside of the special move of Ice Wolf Claw being absolutely stupid, again, imagine this thing in Gen 9, what's switching into Ice Wolf Claw? And you also get Discharge as like Bolt Beam combination. Nothing wants to switch into this guy, I'll be honest. It's actually quite a scary Pokemon, but also it has a good amount of physical moves that it can run as well, seeing how it has a much higher physical attack than special attack. So you get access to E-Speed, you have Knockoff, Iron Head. The stab on ice isn't really doing too much for you. You don't get Icicle Crash or anything like that, but you know, Garuru Kick is an ice U-turn, so I guess you can work as a pivot and it'll still do some decent damage. Again, this thing has the same attack stat as Dragonite, so again, it's hitting decently hard, and you have a move that can pivot out of mons that will check you, like Toxapex, for example, even something like Dondozo. But either way, Metal Garurumon, all of these Ubers level ice types that we have in Chaos, yeah, these guys, never let them free. Never let them free. But either way, we're gonna move on to some non-Ubers, non-AG level Pokemon, because sometimes you have to show the little guys some love. And by little guys, I mean like average Joes that are chilling in like OU and UU, because some of these guys are actually pretty cool Pokemon in standard play, particularly in the Chaos OU meta game. So yeah, we're going to speak about Mercury now. Now, Mercury is a new addition into the Chaos OU meta game. Now, Pokemon Infinity is still updating to this day, and you know, they gave us Mercury. I think they gave us Mars, Mercury, Jupiter. I think, does Venus exist? Yeah, Venus does exist, but yeah, Mercury is one of them. Water Ice typing with the filter ability, which is actually pretty good. Water is already nice defensively, and obviously Ice lets it down horrendously. You get like an extra weakness to, you get a rock weakness, you get a fighting weakness. You now no longer resist steel, but you know, filter does help you out a little bit, so I can't lie about that. But either way, most of these guys, they don't really have the biggest move pools. Mercury does have some pretty good stats, I can't lie. 130 HP with these defenses, like, that's actually pretty insane, I can't lie. 130 HP, 80 defense, 115 special defense. Does it get any recovery? Again, like, I haven't really been able to use them on like this yet, because I haven't played Chaos OU in a hot sec. I've just been way too busy. But you know, you get access to teleport. I think this one would be a crazy ass pivot in Gen 9 OU. At least if I at least had recovery. If I had recovery, then yeah, this shit would be absolutely insane. But yeah, teleport is really good pivoting. It just has like your standard moves. Like, you probably are just going to lean into your special attacking stat. As you can see, that attack stat is not high enough. So, you know, you have access to Hydro Pump, Ice Beam as your dual stabs. You know, Flash Flood is a pretty cool move. Now, there isn't any, like, it's basically a special version of Aqua Jets, which is, again, one of the best priority moves that water types can have access to. And you just get that on the special side. So, yeah, that's actually pretty cool. What else do you get? Tonic. Wait, what the hell does Tonic do? What? Tonic. Deals damage equal to the user's level, and then you recover the move. Let's see what this does. What it keeps cutting out, but I'm assuming that's a way that you can recover your HP. So it's Nightshade, but you actually recover damage. Okay, maybe you actually run Tonic then, because it does fix damage, which is actually pretty good. So yeah, you have a recovery attacking move. Yeah, no, Mercury is him. Mercury is him. If you slap this guy into OU, that's going to be a craziness, bro. It's going to be a craziness. Only issue is obviously the rocks issue, but again, Gen 9 OU's boot spam. This thing wouldn't mind running boots. It's generally bulky as well, and then also you just have Tonic as well. Again, I think you recover for half the damage, maybe. If you recover 100 HP out of your 130, that's actually pretty solid, I can't lie. But yeah, that's basically a core. That's, to be fair, for a Pokemon with such high HP, that doesn't really recover too much, because let's say you recover 100 HP out of 464, that's not even 25%. So, you know, like, you're not recovering too much. Well, imagine this on anything else. Like, it would actually be incredibly insane. But yeah, Mercury is a pretty fun ice type. Leans more into the water type, if anything, but you know, his part ice typing does give it stab on Ice Beam, so I can't complain. But yeah, moving on to Fafnir. I don't think I've spoken too much about Fafnir, or I have actually. But yeah, this is basically Baxcalibur, but if it was like hella bulky for no reason. Like, you're only 10 BST off. You're actually faster than Baxcalibur, and you're a lot bulkier than Baxcalibur. So yeah, Fafnir is basically Bax, but doesn't have the crazy ass attack stat. Like, 110 is pretty modest and isn't that crazy. But yeah, Fafnir basically can do the same thing that Bax does. It has Icicle Spear, and you have two very good defensive abilities. Either you end up resisting fire, or you end up resisting both fire and ice, or you just double your defense, which actually does come into play because your HP stat is immensely high and your special defense stat is pretty good. So yeah, imagine even with no defensive investment, if you go Fur Coat, you just suddenly get to 380 defense for no reason. So thing is, you could actually just go like a bulk up or curse set with like special defense investment, and nothing is breaking past Fafnir, in my opinion. But obviously you get access to Icicle Spear, Earthquake, you get Ice Shard. It basically just has everything Bax ever wanted other than Scale Shot. Like, if this thing had Scale Shot, then there would be a... I don't even know. I think this is arguably better than Bax, in my opinion. So if you actually slap this guy into Gen 9 OU, he would probably just destroy that tier. But obviously Fafnir is more vulnerable to burns, and you know, you still have Dondozo to check it. But yeah, I think the one thing that Bax has over this is, of course, the much higher attack stat and the fact that you can't be burned. But yeah, Fafnir is not too far behind in terms of how effective it is at being like a Baxcalibur-esque sort of Pokemon. Okay, next up on our list, we got Eco Altaria from Pokemon Infinity. A lot of these ice types are coming from Infinity. Like, I feel like that's the game that introduced a lot of these ice types. Now, Ego Altaria is not a crazy ass Pokemon. Again, like, I'm speaking about some of the little guys. These guys might not see the light of day in like Gen 9 OU, but they're still pretty fun Pokemon to talk about in general. So Ego Altaria has Levitate, Dragon Ice typing, same as Fafnir that we just spoke about here. Decent stats, again, nothing too crazy. I think OG Altaria even has roughly the same BST. Yeah, the stats are just increased, decreased along some stuff. But yeah, you get 105 speed, which is actually not too bad, but again, nothing that can really hang in OU too much. But the main standout thing about Ego Altaria is its ability Contrary and your Dragon type with Draco Meteor. Again, this is a thing that has never been seen in the mainline games of Contrary Draco Meteor Pokemon. But when you have 95 attack, again, like, something like Serp can spam Leaf Storm and start to do a lot of damage, and that's only with 75 special attack. So imagine you have a Dragon type move, which is the same base power, and obviously Dragon has a much better offensive, you know, type spread than Grass. And then, yeah, you're not as fast as Serp, but you do a bit more damage. About that. But yeah, so you get Freeze Dry, you get Ice Beam, you get pretty much all the typical moves. Altaria, I think this gets... it doesn't get any fire moves like Altaria does. Altaria gets access to Fire Blast. But, you know, Earth Power, Focus Blast pretty much just gets the job done. Imagine this thing as a Choice Scarfer. I wouldn't mind actually using this as a Choice Scarfer in, like, OU. But, again, Dragon is not the hardest type to resist. You take, you know, Terra Fairy into the equation, and then suddenly your stab isn't too spammable. But maybe you drop Ice Beam and just go Freeze Dry, and then you can fit like Earth Power. I do think you need Earth Power for like Heatran and, you know, steel types like Goldengo. Like, or obviously your stabs are resisted by Goldengo, and Focus Blast it's immune to. So yeah, you definitely need Earth Power. But either way, Ego Altaria, I think it could actually hang in like maybe RU or something. I can't really see it working in UU, but who knows? Things like Arcanine, Hisui, Iron Jugulis work in UU, so I wouldn't be too surprised if Ego Altaria got enough usage to, you know, kind of hang in UU, because again, contrary Draco Meteor, you have really good coverage options, and then you could obviously Terra out of your typing and you know, actually start being a threatening Pokemon. So yeah, I wouldn't sleep too much on Ego Altaria, but let me know down below where you think this guy would be in the tiering run. But yeah, Andorand, I didn't even pronounce that properly. Andorand, yeah. So yeah, I decided to speak about this guy because he's basically just snowboard, you know, themed, winter theme going on here. Ice Ground from Pokemon Uranium. And, you know, I think this is our first Uranium Pokemon on the list. So yeah, shout out Andorand, showing the people them how it is. But yeah, Snow Warning rivalry, you're obviously going Snow Warning. But yeah, so obviously Uranium kind of got shut down, you know, who knows how many years ago. But again, the Chaos people, we decided to, you know, up its moveset a little bit. I don't know how many moves we added, but again, Uranium is a Gen 6 game and Aurora Veil is a Gen 7 move, so we gave it that. And I do think it does give this one a bit more viability if you actually did think about wanting to use it, think about using it, because you know, as a snow setter, you definitely want Aurora Veil because you can obviously help out your teammates. And even Andorand here is a decently bulky Pokemon, at least on the physical defense side of things. And you see this whopping 127 attack. It's almost as strong as Mamoswine and almost as fast. So yeah, you're probably wondering, why would I use this over Mamoswine? And we can actually see where Mamoswine is located in Gen 9. It's currently RUBL. So the fact that something this similar to Mamoswine, with the same power and basically the same moves, because you get access to Earthquake, Icicle Crash. This is basically just a slower Mamoswine, so with that I can actually just, you know, boost its defense thanks to Snow Warning. So yeah, if Mamoswine's in RUBL, I would like to say Andorand would probably be in the same position. But other than, you know, Larpin as Mamoswine, what else does this thing have access to? I think it would be a much more interesting one than Mamoswine. I just saw U-turn in his move pool. Mamoswine also doesn't get access to Triple Axle. So, you know, this is actually a much more dangerous Pokemon. So yeah, it's nice to compare them to current mainline Pokemon, because at least I can gauge what sort of tier they'll be in if they were in Gen 9. And seeing how Mamoswine lacks U-turn, lacks Triple Axle, and to be honest, the only thing it has over Andorand is like Thick Fat, then it makes a lot of sense for me to say, yeah, this one is definitely going to be an RUBL, because you have the same exact moves on the attacking side. You also get a lot of really cool utility moves like Encore, settable bulk up, which Mamoswine does not get. You also get access to Yawn. And again, Sleep is not banned in Gen 9 formats. So yeah, Andorand would be actually really cool Pokemon. The fact that I can sit here and tell you guys, yeah, this one is actually not going to be a shitter. Because RUBL is actually a decent level to be at. And Mamoswine's BST is like 530. So you're basically just Mamoswine. So yeah, shout out Andorand, man. You're doing God's work, honestly. But yeah, moving on to our next Pokemon, we got Dermafrost. I think Dermafrost is also from Uranium. 540 BST, but you have a much worse typing than Andorand with Ice Rock. And yeah, Ice Rock will let you down. You do have access to Sturdy, so I can't really complain. Do you get Sturdy counter? This thing does not get counter. Okay, good to know. But yeah, Solid Rock will probably be your best ability. But the fact that you're blessed with like the worst defender typing of all time, like, well, it's actually not the worst. Bug Grass is worse, but because at least Ice Rock offensively is actually really threatening, especially if you get you know, coverage at Earthquake or close combat to hit Steel type Pokemon, which you do, of course. But yeah, yeah, I can't really see this guy being higher than like PU, in my opinion. To be perfectly honest, the power creep in Gen 9 is just that big that even a mon like this, which I think would have succeeded in like maybe Gen 5 or Gen 6, like in Gen 9, you really gonna have to make sure this thing is like a Terra Hog and make sure that, you know, you get out of this typing, because you're coming in with 2 4x weaknesses to Steel and Fighting. You're also ground weak. You're at least not fire weak, I can at least say that, but you're weak to water as well. So there's a lot of weaknesses that will catch you out, and to be fair, I can't see Dermafrost being any higher than PU. Maybe it makes it to PU, because again, 115 attack, 80 speed, is probably PU-esque enough for you to get away with it. But in terms of the moves that this guy does get access to, let's see if it gets any setup. If it does have any setup, then it might be PU level. But if not, I'm gonna question it a lot. But yeah, let's see what it has. So it has rock polish, bulk up. I mean, bulk up should be okay. But yeah, this one doesn't particularly stand out too much. But does it get triple axle? No. So you're left with icicle crash. Wow, you don't even get icicle crash. Same mums, you don't get icicle crash. Ice spinner. I mean, ice spinner is not bad. It's stronger than ice punch at least. But you know, ice spinner, earthquake, CC. Like as a banded Pokemon, this is probably really dangerous. But at this point, I'm just like, am I dropping stab on Stone Edge? I don't know if I'm gonna be able to afford that sort of nonsense, to be honest. But yeah, you definitely need CC or earthquake. You drop one or the two, or one or the other. I think you definitely need Stone Edge, and then yeah. But is banded enough to carry him on like this in PU? Maybe. I'll give it benefit of the doubt, because again, it's not like, again, ZU is so power crept now that like you have mons like Electro, Snorlax. But again, like it's a lower tier guy. But you know, I do like the design. I think Dermafrost has always stood out for, to me from like Uranium's decks. Like again, some of these underrated guys that would probably never see play in Chaos OU, but it's nice to, you know, just speak about them and, you know, try and discuss their viability in like Gen 9. But either way, moving on to our next Pokemon, we got Entei from the POA decks. Shout out to who made Entei Supra. Shout out to the Shaldoian for making Entei Super. We've spoken about Suicune. We've spoken about Raikou, my bad. But I don't think we've ever mentioned Entei in any of our Fake Mons analysis. But either way, Entei Supra, pretty much the same exact stats as Entei. Even its shiny is basically Entei. So yeah, pretty cool mon that we got here. So you get you get 3 really solid abilities. You get Snow Warning, you get Fur Coat, and as a hidden ability, you get Adaptability, which again, coming off of Entei's 115 attack stat, which is still decent to this day. You know, like Adaptability is actually a pretty good shout, because its signature move is called Sub-Zero Storm, which actually summons Snow on switching. So you actually don't need Snow Warning. You could actually just go Adaptability, get up the snow, and then you get a defense boost. But to be fair, I think this is the reason why Light Clay. Wait, is Light Clay still? Wait, this is AG, my bad. But Light Clay got banned from Chaos OU mainly due to the efforts of, you know, Entei Super and other, you know, dual screens mons that were broken. So if this thing goes in Gen 9, well, Sub-Zero Storm is a pretty crazy move, especially if you're holding an Icy Rock. This improves the damage by 20%. And then other than that, you don't really get any setup. Well, you get SD, let me not lie to you guys. You get SD, Extreme Speed, Sub-Zero Storm. Like, you could go Terra Normal E-Speed, and this thing would be an absolute menace. Because again, remember, something like Entei, which I actually don't know what tier Entei is in. Entei is currently in RU, and that's a one with no setup. Imagine an Entei with an Ice typing, Adaptability, and Swords Dance. That's at least making it to UU, potentially UUBL. So yeah, Entei Super would be an absolute menace in Gen 9. And yeah, it would be really cool to see that Pokemon there. But yeah, so we got Frigimon next, a Digimon. Pretty cool, cute design. Again, I'm not the biggest Digimon fan, but at the same time, yeah, the design is cool. But yeah, 125 attack, 105 speed, pure ice typing with Iron Fist. As you can see, Iron Fist boosted I can't even speak English. Iron Fist boosted Ice Punch. But yeah, other than that, you don't really have the best coverage moves. All of the Digimon really get like 10 moves realistically that are usable on them. But yeah, you get Close Combat, you get Zen Headbutt, and then you have Mach Punch, which is priority, that's boosted by Iron Fist. You also have access to Power Up Punch, which is also boosted by Iron Fist. That goes up to 20% boost. Can I even do maths? Isn't that just 48 base power? Yeah, so it's not that crazy. But again, you have something that boosts your attack stat and you're decently fast. But yeah, this is not one that will particularly stand out, seeing how it legitimately only has like 4 moves that can run and it's not that fast. So yeah, overall Frigimon is an okay mon, but at the same time, Digimon don't really get too many moves. So I can't really blame this guy for not really reaching his maximum potential with this stat spread. So yeah, that's just how it goes. But yeah, moving on to our next mon, we got Furumo. Now Furumo is from the POA decks yet again. Who made Furumo? Shout out to Anaconda the GOAT, and ZXG, ZXG, yeah, that guy. But yeah, either way, Furumo is a pretty cool Pokemon, 530 BST. Not the stats don't really stand out. The fact that this actually gets to 530 with no stat above 100 other than speed is actually kind of insane. But yeah, Furumo has two really good abilities. Refrigerate is always good because it has access to extreme speed, and also gets access to Pixie Power, which basically just gives it stab on the fairy type moves. So you basically get 3 stab moves, especially due to the fact you get access to Moonblast on the special side, and I think on the physical side you might get Play Rough. Yeah, you get Play Rough and Spirit Break. But either way, the way I've used Furumo over time, at least in other meta games, I don't think I've really played PoE decks too much, but I think I played Monotype, Chaos Monotype, so I was able to use Furumo, and yeah, just having Return, E-Speed, like, again, this is what Mega Glalie wishes it was. This is what Mega Glalie wishes it was, because, again, you get to 297, which again is actually stronger than Glalie with a choice band. You get access to Return, you get I don't know what other moves you get, to be honest. Let's see. Well, you obviously can run your physical water stab, which I think you do need, and then flip turn. Yeah, this one is the master of water ice coverage. You might be walled by water types, but at least you're not walled by dragon types. So yeah, Furumo also gets explosion, so that will pretty much just nuke anything on the field, to be honest. So yeah, if you're really feeling about it, that explosion life, then go ahead. I support you all the way. But yeah, Furumo is a pretty cool design. I like it a lot, and is a very strong Pokemon indeed. I don't know where it would place in the Tyrion rung in Gen 9. I don't want to say. I feel like this thing would probably thrive in RU. At most, I can't see it any lower than RU. I feel like it will destroy NU very easily. Even though NU has some pretty good checks to Ice. But again, this thing with Terra potential, I'd rather not mess with it in my opinion. But yeah, RU seems about right. But yeah, Glacieros. Glacieros has probably been one of the most standout Pokemon I've liked. Again, this from Pokemon Infinity. Shout out Infinity yet again. We get Sheer Force. Like, imagine a Mamoswine with Sheer Force. So yeah, you combine Mamoswine, Nidoking, and you get Glacieros. Now, unfortunately, Glacieros doesn't really get much in terms of Sheer Force boosted moves on the physical side. Like, you have Icicle Crash, which is probably the best thing you could ask for. You get access to Earthquake, and then that's pretty much it. Like, you don't really get anything else that can really boost, that gets boosted by Sheer Force. I mean, you have Rock Slide, but you don't really need Rock Slide because Ice Ground kind of just targets flying types anyway, and hits everything neutrally quite well. But other than that, yeah, Glacieros' physical move pool is just like, it's okay. Like, you get Sucker Punch, but to be honest, your stab's already that strong. But yeah, you can go double priority or maybe just drop Sucker Punch. I don't know if you need it. I forgot if this thing even gets set up moves. It gets Swords Dance, so to be fair, a Swords Dance Glacieros, again, like I said, Andorine and Mamoswine are RUBL level. Now imagine a Glacieros, which is a faster Mamoswine, has access to double its attack, and, you know, has access to Life Orb Sheer Force. Again, I think it's a no-brainer that this one would at least be banned from RU, and potentially might even have a UU niche, because again, it hits very hard and there isn't that many Pokemon that want to switch into it. It also has reliable recovery, so even if you want to use Life Orb sets or even something that doesn't want a setup, you have 3 attacks, like, plus recovery. So at that point, you also get access to double hazards in Spikes and Stealth Rock. So yeah, Glacieros would definitely potentially have a niche in UU, in SVUU. Shame that it doesn't really get knockoff because you don't really have a way of punishing like Slowking. But again, you just have Stab Earthquake that's getting boosted from Life Orb. So, you know, there's not really much else to really say about Glacieros. It's a very honest sort of Pokemon, very honest stat spread. Doesn't even get to 500 BST, but is arguably as like more scarier than Mamoswine and Andorine. So yeah, Glacieros, shout out my guy, definitely one of my favorite Fate Mons from Pokemon Infinity. We only got a few more to go through, guys, but if you guys are enjoying the video so far, again, let me know down below what you guys think of the video, and let me know what your favorite Pokemon that I've discussed in this video was so far. But yeah, moving on to Heracross of the Subarctic variant. This is a PoE mon made by Arcato the GOAT. This guy has made a lot of, really cool PoE mons. So yeah, Heracross Subarctic is just one of the many that he's made so far. Now you're probably thinking another Bug Ice type, but to be fair, Frostfurrow was an Uber's level threat, and we also had who else did we have, bro? I think I was discussing fucking Frostmoth too much, and I was like, that guy's a shitter. But Heracross Subarctic is definitely better than Frostmoth in my opinion. You have 3 really solid abilities. Well, you got Compound Eyes, which means you basically have an accurate Blizzard without Snow. You have Quick Feet, which doubles your speed if you're burned, which again, this thing is not a physical attacker, as you can see by 35 attack. So you don't even have to run Toxic Orb. And then you also get Slush Rusher, which doubles your speed in Snow. So yeah, would this one be enough to carry Snow in Gen 9? And the answer is probably not. You probably need a lot more. Because at least Snow offense back, maybe when backs were still legal in Gen 9. You know, that's when it was popping off. But, you know, Snow kind of just lost, like, their main guy that could really utilize Snow well. And to be fair, Snow still sees some play in OU, but, again, Ninetales is, you know, sitting all the way down in PU last time I checked. So, you know, it still sees some use in OU, but Snow is not at its peak like it was like a year or two ago. But, yeah, Heracross Subarctic, even with Slush Rush, you have Accurate Blizzard. I think you get a boosting option. I don't even know. Let me double check. You get access to Swords Dance. Yeah, that's good, man. 35 attack. Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. But anyway, so yeah, you're not boosting your special attack. But at the same time, you have really good coverage options. You get Focus Blast, you get Freeze Dry, you get Earth Power. Again, this is kind of Cyclone-esque in a way, where you just get the coverage that you need, because Bug Ice, the type chart on that is absolutely abhorrent. Like, Ice is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. At this point, don't even run Bug Stab. Just go Blizzard, Earth Power, Freeze Dry, Focus Blast. I think that's realistically all you need. And then potentially, if you want to take Terra into the equation, you could obviously go like Terra Blast Fire or Terra Blast, whatever. Whatever really floats your boat, to be honest. But yeah, max special attack, max speed with a timid nature. Well, to be honest, the only bad issue with like Quick Feet is that you obviously cannot run like heavy duty boots, because you kind of want to boost your speed, and even then 80 speed +1 isn't actually that fast. So yeah, you probably want to be using this guy under Slush Rush Snow. You get heavy duty boots, and then you kind of just go ham clicking your strongest attacks. But again, like 135 is okay, but I wish it had something to boost the special attack, because it would like that a lot. I can't lie, it would like that a lot. Unless I miss Calm Mind. Oh, it gets Calm Mind, I'm stupid. Anyway, guys, it gets special boosted on the special side. Forget everything I just said. But yeah, where does that leave Heracross Subarctic? Very reliant on Snow to really get going, at least in the higher tiers. I can't really see this thing being higher than NU potentially. Maybe NU might, you know, be a decent spot for it. But seeing how regular Heracross has made it down to PU, or wait, where's Heracross? Oh, PUBL actually. I could imagine the NU to PU range for Subarctic, but again, Ninetales is down in PU now, so this thing will definitely be a menace to society in PU. Probably gets banned and then ends up just staying in PUBL as long as Ninetales or Lola is legal in PU. But yeah, Heracross Subarctic is a decent guy. Now moving on to Mr. Blizzard from Mario Mons. Now this is the first and only, well, I was gonna say the only Mario Mon on this list, that's a lie. But you know, the first Mario Mon we're talking about, and these guys typically aren't anything crazy in the stat department or the move pool department. Like, these stats just look like it came from Gen 4, and even in Gen 4 with Mono Ice typing, this thing would have not been shit. So yeah, it's a Bomberstone-esque way where you get 60 speed, but you come in with a massive attack stat of 120, which isn't actually too bad. You get Freeze Dry, you get Blizzard. You don't really get anything else, I'll be honest. Like, this move pool is absolutely god awful. What the hell is this? What the hell is this? This guy is doomed for ZU viability. Doomed, I tell you, doomed. Even if you added Terra Blast to this, 60 speed, Mono Ice typing, pack it up, man. Pack it up. 520 BST as well, but even ZU wouldn't even use this. Would SU even use this? I don't know. This guy is absolute garbage. This guy's actually worse than Momoshino. Like, yeah, nah, Mr. Blizzard, man. You let the guys down, man. This is the first shitter on the list. I'm sorry to say, this is the first shitter on the list. I feel really bad about it, but that's just how it goes sometimes, honestly. But yeah, moving on to Penguin. Penguin is also going to be another shitter. Again, Mario Mons don't really have the strongest guy. I don't know why this guy's looking at me like that, man. Like, are you on something? Are you on something? The shiny is cool though, based on Club Penguin, at least in my opinion. Yeah, shiny colors are cool though, I can't lie. But either way, Penguin here, Slush Rush as his main ability, because Snow Cloak is obviously banned. And yeah, looking at the stats, yeah, I don't think I really have to say anything about these stats, guys. 50 speed, 50 speed, mono ice, 50 speed. You're even slower than Obama slow. Oh man. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Nah, this is sad, man. This is sad. Only thing that really saves this guy, like if you go Slush Rush, Z Splash, which boosts your attack by 3 stages. And to be fair, base 80 is enough to do a decent chunk of damage at plus 3. So yeah, I'll give this guy the benefit of the doubt. Z Splash, you get Icicle Crash. What else do you get? You get a lot of water moves. You should just make. Oh wait, Triple Axle's better. You get a lot of water moves when you should have just been a water ice type. That might have helped your case because you just get, you know. But superpower is not bad to hit steel types, and then you have access to liquidation. No, you don't even get liquidation. You get Aqua Tail, which again, wait, you don't even have enough slots. I can't lie. I might just be running play rough. I'll be honest. Hitting the fighting type super effectively. But yeah, this is the only use I could see for this guy. And even at +2, you only reach 436 speed. So pretty much any Scarfer that has a decent speed tier above like 80 is going to be outspeeding you. So yeah, Penguin, you're a fraud. But at least Z-Splash is a very funny set to run in that dex format. So yeah, finally the last one. And I think it's apt that we're ending off on this Pokemon, Delta Mismagius. Now, this really brings in the Christmas spirit. You know, it has an ability called Winter Joy, which the power is actually boosted depending on the time of the month. As you all know, today's December 2nd. So yeah, you're getting that 40% boost from Winter Joy. And obviously with Mismagius's stat spread, you're actually doing a decent chunk of damage. Particularly if you're taking into account the 40% damage increase. So yeah, even though Magic Guard is a really cool ability, which means that you avoid Stealth Rock, you'll avoid Toxic, T-Spikes, so on and so forth. I think Winter Joy, at least in December, makes a lot more sense, to be fair, because if you look at the moves that Mismagius has access to, Moonblast, Freeze Dry, that's all you need. That's all you need. You also get T-Bolt, you get Psychic Noise, which, you know, us Chaos people gave it, because obviously Psychic Noise is a Gen 9 move. But yeah, other than that, you don't really get any setup other than Calm Mind. But to be honest, you don't really need it. If you go Specs, Winter's Joy, what's switching into Moonblast? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now, it's a shame that you don't get Mystical Fire like regular Mismagius, but again, if you slap this thing into Gen 9, give it like Terra Blast, Ground, or Fire, this thing would probably get really, really far. But again, like, you already have a 40% boost from your ability, plus another 50% boost from choice specs. So, in my humble opinion, yeah, so I don't think this thing would survive in PU, I'll be honest. Like, PU will just get blown up by this guy. NU, arguably the same, because the speed tier is good enough, and even though your stabs are kind of whatever, like, are you making it? I feel like you'd break a lot of RU's core very easily outside of Blissey. Like, realistically, you could go Side Shock for Blissey, and that shit is getting to it killed, I'll be honest. So, yeah, other than that, well, to be fair, there's Chansey in RU as well. But yeah, minimum RU for Delta Mismagius, at least when Winter Joy is taken into account. Because again, the damage boost is just going to be too high. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed me talking about some of the Fakemon Ice types. We talked about a decent few, and hopefully you guys stayed along for the ride. Much appreciate it. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.